Hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to week. Mic check. Hello, everyone. Sorry we're having some audio difficulties here. Welcome to week 7 of the Illinois high school football season. I am Chris Foster, and thank you for joining us once again here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET. Tonight's matchup features the Rockets from Tolono Unity. And the Sages from Monticello. As you can see now, the Rockets are entering the field right now to their traditional song. The Rockets come into this matchup 4-2, coming off a loss last week to Decatur St. Teresa. They fell 31-21. Monticello is 6-0 coming into this ball game. They defeated Sullivan last week, 27-14. A couple of key notes about interesting tidbits about this ball game. The last time Monticello defeated Unity was 1995. Unity has won 10 straight matchups between the squads. Also, in this ball game, we have the top 2 defenses in the OCA Black Conference, as well as the top 2 offenses in the OCA Black Conference. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on the field, if it'll be an offensive game or a defensive game. On the Unity side, they are coached by Scott Hamilton. He's in his 20th year. He's got a record of 190-45. He's trying to avoid the first 2-game losing streak at Unity in 66 games. The last time they lost 2 games in a row was 2008. Again, of course, I said last week they fell to Decatur St. Teresa 31-21 right here at Hicks Field. So they're trying to not fall for the second time in a row for the first time since 2008. They are led on the ground by senior running back Connor Grace. He's got 955 yards and 13 touchdowns, among the best rushers in the area. They have a couple of quarterbacks that they've been playing this season. They have senior Justin Daters. He's got 446 yards on the ground and 6 touchdowns. He's thrown for 370 yards and 5 touchdowns. And they also have junior Taylor White. He's got 159 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. They are led on the receiving side of things by Mitchell Snodgrass. He's got 10 catches for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the Monticello side of things, they are coached by Colin Welter. He's in his 5th year for the Sages. He's got a record of 34-15 during his time at Monticello. And the Monticello D only allows 7.7 points a game. So barely over a touchdown allowed a game by this tough Sage defense. On the rushing side of things, they are led by sophomore running back Logan Nisley. He's got 90 carries for 610 yards and 8 touchdowns. And senior Andrew Bailey's got 51 carries for 347 yards and 4 touchdowns. On the passing side of things, it's quarterback Sam Parrish. He's got 545 yards passing with 7 touchdowns. And the lead receiver for the Sages is senior Josh Burton, 252 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. So we're about set to go here in Tolono. Thank you for joining us here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET, Week 7 of the Illinois high school football season, and a key matchup in the Okaw Valley Black. Again, Unity comes in 4-2, and Monticello comes in 6-0. If Unity wants to have any chance of winning the Okaw Valley Black Conference this year, they have to win this game against Monticello. We will also be in Monticello in a couple weeks for another Okaw Valley matchup between Monticello and Decatur St. Teresa. So we're about ready to get started here in Tolono. As I said, Unity trying to avoid a 2-game losing streak for the first time since 2008. I am Chris Foster. I appreciate you joining us here tonight on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET. If you have any comments or questions, or you'd like to do any advertising on our website, just email us at hssportslive@yahoo.com. So we're about set to go here. Monticello getting ready to kick off. It's kicked deep, and it's going to go out of bounds about the 20-yard line. And that's going to set the Rockets up with good field position here early on.
On about the 28-yard line. Unity will start play. 1st and 10
So the Rockets will start 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line as we kick off this ball game here in Tolono. These teams know each other very well, have played numerous times in the past few years, meeting in the playoffs as well several years in a row. And there's the give from Daters to Connor Grace, the running back for the Rockets, and he's going to power forward for about 7 yards. So a nice opening carry by the Rockets. Justin Daters in at quarterback for the Rockets. The give there, like I said, was to Connor Grace.
Ben Wilson, 59, the tackler. A gain of 7, 2nd down and 3.
2nd and 3 for the Rockets. Daters in the shotgun. He fakes it and then gives it to Grace. He's trying to get to the outside. He makes the move back to the inside, and he picks up about 2 yards, so it's going to be 3rd down and 1 here for the Rockets. A nice cut to the inside there by Grace to at least pick up a couple. It looked like he was going to lose a couple yards on that play. Jacob Burton helped on the tackle there for the Sages. So 3rd and 1 for the Rockets. Ball at the 44-yard line. Just a minute into this ball game here at Hicks Field in Tolono, here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET. Daters in the shotgun. Oh, the ball snapped. He wasn't ready for it, and he's going to pick it up at the 25, and then he's going to try to run forward with it, and he's brought down at the 22-yard line. Huge loss there by the Rockets as they're setting up for a short 3rd and 1. Daters was still trying to set up the backs in the backfield, and the ball was snapped when he was not ready for it. So that turns a 3rd and 1 to a 4th and 19, and now instead of trying to continue a drive, the Rockets are going to be punting to the Sages. 2 men back for Monticello. There's the punt, a nice-looking punt. Caught about the 42-yard line by the Sages. That's number 83. He breaks up the field. He's got room to run, and he's going to be strung out of bounds at the 45. That's Josh Burton on the return. He's the leading receiver for the Sages. So Monticello has great field position after the messed up snap there by the Rockets. And that's going to put the ball at the 35-yard line for the Sages. And they'll start 1st and 10 right there. Sam Parrish will start in the shotgun. Man in motion. Solomon Salah in motion. There's the give to Parrish. He's looking to throw to the outside. He's got it complete there. And the Rockets miss the tackle, and he breaks another tackle, and then he gets across for about 11 yards. So he makes it to the 25-yard line. That's Josh Burton on the reception. Quick wide receiver pass there to the outside. They gained 9 yards on the play. They're going to say he stepped out a yard short.
Ball's on the 26-yard line.
So ball on the 26, 2nd down and 1 for the Sages. Parrish in the shotgun again. He's going to look to do the option, and he pitches it to the outside. He's got room to run 25-20 and makes it to the 19-yard line.
Dylan Nisley, the ball carrier.
That's number 28, Dylan Nisley.
Tackled on the play by Colton Reed. That's good for Monticello, 1st down.
It's a 1st down and 10.
Ball's on the 20-yard line, 1st and 10.
For the Sages. Parrish in the shotgun, Nisley behind him in the backfield in I formation. A little bit of a mishandle on the snap, but he is able to recover and get it to Nisley as he knifes through the defense there for just about a yard. So it'll be 2nd down and 9 for Monticello. 9:25 showing on our game clock here early on in the 1st quarter here in Tolono.
Gain of a couple, 2nd down and 8.
Under center now is Parrish. Nisley breaks out to the outside. He's going to throw it to Burton again, and he's going to get to about the 15, 14-yard line.
Josh Burton.
It's going to make it a 3rd down and 3 for the Sages.
Ball marked on the 13-yard line. 3rd and 2.
So Parrish under center again. He's got a fullback behind him this time, and they're going to give it to him, and he's going to be stacked up at the line of scrimmage by the Rocket D. That was Andrew Bailey, unable to get any yards. He lost a yard, and that's going to make a 4th down and 3 here for the Sages.
Andrew Bailey on the carry.
So a huge play here early on in this ball game. Parrish in the shotgun, nicely behind him. Man in motion is Burton. He's going to look to throw. He throws it to the outside, and it's Burton again. Did he make the catch? Incomplete. They're going to call incomplete. Josh Burton, unable to hold it. Looked like he had it in his hands, but the Unity defense was able to swipe it out at the last second. It's ruled incomplete as Burton was thinking maybe it was a fumble, but it's called incomplete, and a huge stop by the Unity defense. So they recover from the snap, as it looked like they were going to set the Sages up to put some points on the board early here, but a huge response by the Unity defense, stopping them 4th and 3 at the Rocket 13-yard line. So that's where the offense will come out. Obviously not great field position, but a great job by the defense not to allow any points to the Sages. So Dater's in the shotgun. Grace with them in the backfield. We got one receiver to the far side, another one coming in motion to that side, and one to the near side. And there's Dieter. Dater's trying to run. He's found room to run, and he breaks a tackle, and he's going to be brought down at the 34-yard line. A 21-yard gain. Is nice running there by Daters.
Tackle on the play by Josh Burton. That's good for a Rocket 1st down. The ball on the 30.
I think at the 32-yard line, so a 19-yard gain by Daters. In the shotgun again is Daters. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. Mitchell Snodgrass there on the far side. Daters in the shotgun, joined by Grace in the backfield, and they're going to give it to Grace, and he's met immediately. Oh, now he's trying to break it to the outside, and he's going to lose 3 or 4 yards on that play as he was trying to break it to the outside after being stacked up in the middle. They're going to give him a little bit of forward progress and say he lost a yard. So it's 2nd down and 11 now for the Rockets.
He's 2nd down and 12. Ball on the 30.
So ball on the 30 here. 2-back set now on the shotgun with Daters. As we have Colton Reed back there with Grace. Grace trying to get to the outside. He's found room. He's now trying to cut it back the other way. And he gets to the 37, 38-yard line. So a pickup of about 7 yards.
Tackled on the play by Ben Wilson, 59.
And that's going to make it 3rd down and 5 for Unity. Ball at the 37-yard line. They've done a good job, at least so far, to get out from their own end zone. The nice 19-yard run by Daters to give them some room to work with here. And now a 3rd down and 5 on their own 37-yard line. 2-back set again. They give it to Grace. He's going to go to the outside, and he's got room. It's at the 40, the 45, and goes to the 47-yard line. Picks up 10 more yards.
Making the tackle for Monticello, Josh Burton. That's the 1st down for Unity. They'll put the pigskin down.
That's 25 yards on the ground here early on by Grace on about 5 carries. So a 1st down and 10 for Unity. Ball at the 47-yard line. Daters in the shotgun. 2-back set with Grace and Colton Reed again. 2 receivers to the far side. Nothing here on the near side receiver-wise. Tight end now in motion. That is Tyler Lindsay in motion. The give is to Grace, and he's trying to get to the outside, and he's stacked up, and he's going to lose a yard. Good job, good pursuit there by the Monticello D.
Dylan Nisley in on the tackle, along with Clay Becker. Loss of a couple.
So 2nd down and an 11. Ball on the 45-yard line. Make it a loss of 2, so 2nd and 12. Now a single back again, as it's a pass there this time. It's incomplete, as Daters was trying to connect there with Grace, but he just threw it a little bit too far in front of him, and Grace wasn't unable to come down with it. So that's going to bring a 3rd down and long up, 3rd and 12 from their own 45-yard line, 5 minutes and 54 seconds showing on the clock here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET. Thank you for tuning in for our live web broadcast here tonight. Daters in the shotgun. He's going to fake to Grace. He's looking to throw. He gets hit, and the ball's knocked up in the air, and it's going to be incomplete as he just was getting ready to unleash it, but he was pressured there on the outside. Number 44, Matt Justice gets in there for the Sages. So that's 4th down and 12 now for Unity. And that'll bring the punter in for the Rockets. Jordan Fisher ready to punt it away here for Unity. Gets a clean snap, and he gets it another nice-looking punt. It's going to be caught about the 25 by the Sages. He's looking for room to run. He breaks through a couple tackles, finds a hole, and he has all kinds of room, and he almost goes to the outside, but he cuts back in the middle, and he's brought down at the 46, 47-yard line of the Rockets. A good return there for the Sages. That's number 28, Dylan Nisley. That's the halfback there for the Sages, the sophomore halfback. And he gives Monticello good field position again as he returns the punt about 24 yards. So Parrish now in the shotgun, an empty set as far as the backfield goes, 3 to the near side, and he's going to give it to Burton as he's trying to run a wide receiver sweep. Flag is thrown, and he's stacked up about the 43. Certainly looks like a flag where there would be a holding penalty, but we'll see what the referees signal here. A lot of times on those sweep plays to the outside, we get holding penalties, and that is what it's going to be. So that'll march them back 10 yards and turn the 1st and 10 into a 1st and 20.
Ball goes back to the Monticello 45-yard line.
So now on the other side of the 50 here for the Sages. 2nd down and 19 after the holding penalty. Parrish is under center, Nisley in the backfield. The pitch is to Nisley, a high pitch, but he's able to field it. Tries to cut back, but he's brought down at the 47. So a gain of 2 there by Nisley.
Tackled on the play by Elijah Miller.
Second down and 17 now.
2nd and long.
Nisley in the backfield with Parrish, who's in the shotgun. 3 receivers here to the near side now for the Sages. Receives the snap, he's looking to throw, and it's going to be picked up by the Rockets. Taylor White, he's looking to return it. Now he's at the 45, he's trying to come back to the other side of the field, and he's got blockers. 45, 40, 30. He's going to try to make a move, and he's brought down at the 26-yard line. Taylor White with the interception. A 2nd down and 17 play. Sages looking to pick up some of that yardage to shorten their 3rd down attempt, but interception by Taylor White, the junior quarterback and defensive back, and he returns it there to the 27-yard line. That's where Unity will take over with the opportunity to put the first points on the board here in this ball game. 4 minutes and 40 seconds show on the clock here in the first quarter. Daters brings his offense out. He's in the shotgun. Grace with him there in the backfield. They give it to Grace. He's looking to run. He's at the 25 and spills through to about the 24. So he picks up 2 to 3 yards there. Carter Ness on the tackle for the Sages.
30, correction, the 24-yard line.
So the Rockets now looking to the sideline for the play. 2nd down and 7 at their 24-yard line of the Sages after the Taylor White interception. In the shotgun is Daters. He's going to give it to Grace again. He plows up the middle, and he gets through to the 17-yard line. It's going to be close to a 1st down here. They're going to say 6 yards on the carry and mark him down about a yard short of the 1st down there. So 3rd down and 1 for Unity here. The last time they had a 3rd down and 1, they had the bad snap, and they had to punt it away. We'll see what happens here on this play. 2 backs now with Reed and Grace. They give it to Grace. He's running to the outside. He's going to force it up the field. He's going to get the 1st down and be brought down at the 10, 11-yard line. We'll see where they mark it, but a 1st down for the Rockets.
Back 44 making the stop.
They mark it at the 11-yard line. So 7 more yards for Connor Grace. Two-back set again. They've got Daters and they've got Taylor White there with them this time. They're going to give it to Grace again. White out in front of the block, and he's got some room and some blockers, and he powers forward into the end zone for a touchdown. From 11 yards out, 11 yards out, Connor Grace scores for the Rockets. And with 3 minutes on the clock here in the first quarter, it's 6-0 in favor of Tolono Unity. A touchdown carry of 11 yards by Grace. And now they have Cameron Spalmer on here to kick the extra point for the Rockets. The snap, the kick is up, and it is good. So the Rockets lead 7-0 over the Sages. The 11-yard touchdown run by Connor Grace gives him 50 yards on the ground so far here tonight. The Rockets lead 7-0 here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Monticello.
Welcome back to Tolono. I am Chris Foster. Thank you for joining us here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET. Week 7 of the Illinois high school football season, and a key matchup here in the Okaw Valley Black Conference between the 4-2 Tolono Unity Rockets and the 6-0 Monticello Sages. Unity just scored on an 11-yard touchdown run by Connor Grace, set up by an interception by Taylor White. He returned it about 40 yards to set the Rockets up about the 25-yard line, and the rest of the work was done by Connor Grace, who's got 50 yards on the ground. The Rockets kick this one up high. It hits at the 30. The ball's bouncing, and I believe the Sages fell on it. So that's number 33 falling on it there for Monticello. That's Jacob Burton. So that's where the Sages will take over, right at the 30-yard line, trailing 7-0. We got 3 minutes showing on our clock here at Higgs Field in Tolono. We'll see how the Sages respond to the interception followed by the Unity score. As Parrish comes back in for the Sages, he's under center. Knisley in the backfield. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. They give it to Knisley, and he stood right up at the line, and he's brought down about the 26, 27-yard line, a loss of 3 or 4 yards here by Knisley. It's like a loss of 2.
Get on the tackle, number 16, Brunson, and number 9, Heath.
So 2nd down and 12 for Monticello now. Knisley still in the backfield, Parrish under center. 3 receivers set. Parrish looking to throw. He's being pressured, and he's sacked on the outside by number 9, Cameron Heath. Blitzing on the outside. And the Unity defense is fired up here early on in Monticello as they're making some wonderful plays here early on. An interception. Knisley hasn't found a lot of room to run as of yet. And then Cameron Heath with a huge sack, and that makes it 3rd down and 24 for the Sages, all the way back at their own 16-yard line. So Knisley now again in the shotgun. He's got a fullback and a halfback. The halfback goes in motion. Parrish, that's not Parrish anymore. I'll have to tell you who that is in a second. He finds a little room to run. That's Brandon Wildman, number 6, in there with the run. Maybe a little bit of a wildcat formation there by the Sages.
Back to receive the kick, number 81, Jumbo, the punter, is
But he picks up about 5 or 6 yards on the carry. And that's going to force a 4th down and 17 and a punt off here to the Rockets. It's a bad snap by the Sages. He picks it up and he's able to get it kicked off though. And it actually turns out to be a very nice punt by the Sages, as it's going to roll all the way inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. So a good job by the Sage punter, Josh Burton. He averted disaster there, picked it up, and was able to punt it. See the yardage here, 27, 37, 47, nearly 50-yard punt that ended up being by the Sages. And that'll set the Rockets back at the 28-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Rockets back at their own 28-yard line. So that's where the Rockets will start. Dater's in the shotgun with Grace. Jaden Kaiser in motion. It's going to be Dater's trying to find a space to the outside, and he picks up about 4 yards. We're under a minute here in Tolono. The Rockets lead the Sages 7-0, and it's going to be 2nd down and 5 for them at their own 33-yard line. Dater's looking to get the play from Coach Hamilton. He's going to be in the shotgun again with Grace. 2 receivers here to the near side, 1 to the far side. 20 seconds showing on the clock here in the first quarter. Dater's awaiting the snap. He gets the snap and he fakes it to Grace, and then he tries to run it himself. And he's brought down at the 45, or 35, make that. Picks up 2. That'll make it a 3rd down and 3 when we come back here for the second quarter. So after 1 quarter of play here in Tolono, the 4-2 Unity Rockets lead the 6-0 Monticello Sages 7-0. We'll be back in 30 seconds here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET.
Junior Football League players and coaches.
Welcome back to Hicksfield in Tolono. Hope you're enjoying the first quarter here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET. The Unity crowd paying homage to the younger football teams here at Tolono, the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teams, the teams that will be here on the field in the future. The Rockets start 3rd down and 3 here, and they're going to try to get the 1st down, and Grace gets to the outside, and he gets the 1st down, but he was hit hard at the 40, and he's having a little trouble getting up here. As we'll see what this is here, as he was hit real hard on the play. His helmet is on the field. I'm not sure if it came off during the play or he took it off right away. 11:53 on our clock here in the second quarter. 3rd down and 3. It looks like a 1st down for the Rockets, but right now we're just worried about Connor Grace down on the field here. Something you never like to see anywhere in high school sports. Picked up 4 yards on the play as he's up. He's walking off the field on his own power, so we'd like to see that. We'll see what happens with Grace. They'll sit him down and take a look at him, I'm sure. Make sure he's okay. 54 yards on the night rushing here early on by Grace. He had the 11-yard touchdown run for the Rockets. So we'll see if he's able to get back in the ball game or not. But it's 1st down and 10 for Unity. Ball on the 40-yard line. Single back set, it's going to be Colton Reed who's going to come in and be the running back now for the Rockets. Man in motion is Jaden Kaiser. And they're either going to give him the ball on the sweep, but he loses a yard. So a gain of a -1 there by Kaiser.
Tripped up by Burton, 33.
Great job there by Jacob Burton of the Sages to bring down Kaiser. So 2nd and 11 for the Rockets as we are at 11 minutes to go here in the first half. Unity leading the Sages 7-0 here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET. Dater's looking to throw. He's going to throw it to the outside, and it's too high. So he was looking for the tight end, Tyler Lindsay. So that's incomplete, and it's going to be 3rd down and 11 for Unity.
Third and 11.
So ball at their own 39-yard line. 3rd down and 11 for the Rockets. Looking to pick up a long 3rd down conversion here to continue this drive as they lead Monticello 7-0 here tonight at Hicks Field early in the 2nd quarter. Man in motion again. Dater's looking to throw. He fakes it. Now he's being pressured. He throws it up in the air, and it's incomplete. A dangerous pass by Daters as he kind of just threw it up, and it ended up landing at midfield. Luckily, there was no Sages defenders in that area. They were able to pick off that pass. But an incomplete pass nonetheless, and it's 4th down and 11 for the Rockets. And the punter will come out. It's Jordan Fisher. His 3rd punt of the night here. 2 men back deep for the Sages. So I believe they have Dylan Nisley and Josh Burton back deep to receive the punt. Fisher receives the snap, and he boots this one up. A nice-looking punt by Fisher over the head. 20, 10, 5, rolls all the way down, and it goes into the end zone. Nearly had it stopped, but Unity just could not get down there in time to down it at the 1. A wonderful punt by Jordan Fisher. The special teams unit of the Rockets just could not quite get there in time. The ball had just a little bit too much spin on it, and it goes into the end zone just barely. So the Sages will start on the 20-yard line. 10:40 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Looking to respond to the Unity score that happened earlier here tonight. So it's 7-0 Rockets.
1st and 10 from the 20.
So Parrish in the shotgun. Nisley with him in the backfield. A receiver to each side of the field. Parrish looking to throw. He's going to look for Burton, and it's going to be complete. And he's brought down there on the outside by Mitchell Snodgrass.
Covering for Unity, number 12, Snodgrass.
Picks up 8 yards. That's 22 yards on 3 catches for Burton as they like to try to hit him on short passes. That's the 3 catches he's had already tonight. Under center this time is Parrish. He gives it to the fullback, and he's met right at the line. Nowhere for him to go. That's Andrew Bailey. No gain on that play. So 3rd down and 3 here. A big play here early in the 2nd quarter. The Unity defense would love to force a 3 and out here and get off the field and get their offense back on the field. Sages obviously would like to continue this drive. They're going to start with Parrish in the shotgun. Nisley there in the backfield, a receiver to each side. Burton in motion now. And he's going to pitch it to Nisley, and he finds room to run, and he gets across the 30 to the 33, 34-yard line. So our 1st down for the Sages. They pick up 7 yards on that play.
Miller and Reed. 1st down for Monticello. They'll mark the ball on the 35.
So they mark it on the 35. 1st and 10 for the Sages right there. Parrish in the shotgun. Fullback and halfback behind him in the backfield. Man in motion. Tight end in motion. Parrish looking to throw. He's going to throw it to Burton to the outside. He's going to be hit immediately and brought down. Mitchell Snodgrass on the tackle there for the Rockets.
Tackle on the play by number 12.
Another quick pass out there to Burton, but this time the Rocket D was ready. And a loss of 2 yards on the play.
Ball goes back to the 33.
Under 9 minutes to go here in the first half now. Rockets still on top, 7-0. Second down and 12 for the Sages at their own 33-yard line. Parrish in the shotgun. Nisley back there with him. Burton in motion now, coming down here to the near side. That makes 2 receivers here on the near side. And he's going to look for Burton, and it's incomplete, as that wasn't Burton. I apologize. That was Carter Ness. And the pass by Parrish was too high for Ness to bring in. And that'll force a third down and 12 for the Sages. Another nice night for football here in Tolono. We've been very lucky all season here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET. We've had wonderful weather. Third down and 12 for the Sages. Parrish in the shotgun. Nisley back there with him. One receiver to each side. In motion is Burton. They're going to give it to Burton on the sweep, and now he's going to think about throwing it. He just heaves it up in the air, and it's going to be picked off by Taylor White of the Rockets, and he's brought down at the 49-yard line. The second interception of the game by White, and the wide receiver sweep pass does not work for the Sages, as Burton was being pressured by the Rocket D, and he just kind of heaved it up for grabs, and Taylor White came down with it for the Rockets. His second interception of the night. And the Rockets will start just short of midfield on this drive at the 49-yard line. .818 showing on our clock here in the second quarter. Daters in the shotgun. Grace with him in the backfield. 2 receivers. The fake to Grace. He's looking to throw. He's going to throw deep down the field. He has a man, but he overthrew him. As he was looking for Jaden Kaiser on that. Kaiser had a step on his man, but Daters got just a little bit too much air on that one. Second down and 10. I do like the play call there by the Rockets, though, just after the turnover, trying to hit a big play there. Connor Grace is back in the ballgame here for the Rockets, so he's able to shake off that hit that he took on the last series. And Daters gives the ball to Grace, and he's at the 50, and he hits another hard hit, but he gets to the 46. So he picks up about 4 yards, and it's going to be third down and 6 for the Rockets. Make it 6, actually. They give him 5 yards on the carry for Grace. So third down and 5 for the Rockets at the 45 of the Sages. Man in motion is Lindsey. They're going to give it to Grace again. He's trying to get to the outside. He does, and he tries to spin back inside. And I'm not sure where they're going to mark it, as he was right at the first down marker, but then he ran back a little bit trying to cut it back to the inside. So he may be a little bit short. We'll have to see the mark here, but they're going to mark it at the 40, just outside the 41, and it looks like we might need a measurement. No, it's going to be short. So fourth down and 1 for the Rockets here. They're going to go for it. Daters in the shotgun. Grace with him in the backfield. They give it to Grace. He powers forward, and I think he got across the 40. We'll see. We'll see where they mark it, as he only needed a yard. And it is a first down for the Rockets. So some tough sledding there for Connor Grace, but he's able to power through and get the yard he needed. And that's a first and 10 for the Rockets at the 40 with 7 minutes showing on the clock here in the second quarter. Unity leading the Sages 7-0 here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET. I'm Chris Foster, joined by my cameraman Rob Woods. I hope you're enjoying our live video stream here tonight. They give us to Grace again, and he gets through, and it looked like he was going to lose yardage, and he ends up gaining 4 yards to the 36.
Colton Gibson making the tackle.
Colton Gibson on the tackle for the Sages. Second down and 6 for Unity. Trying to build on their 7-point lead here. Midway through the second quarter at Hicks Field in Tolono. Dater's in the shotgun with Grace and Reed. He's got 2 backs with him again this time. Man in motion is Lindsey. He's going to give it to Grace. He's going to go to the outside again. He's hit and brought down at the 40-yard line. So a loss of the 4 that he just gained, and that's going to be 3rd down and 10. For the Rockets at the 40-yard line. We'll see what type of play Coach Hamilton dials up here. This is the area of the field where the Rockets like to go for it on 4th down. So Hamilton, from the Rockets, Coach Hamilton might be thinking just of 2 plays to get 10 yards, not just 1 play. We'll see what they go with here. Dater's in the shotgun. He's going to look to throw, throws it to the outside to Lindsey. He catches it at the 35, plows forward across the 30, and it's a 1st down. They mark him down at the 29-yard line, 11 yards on the pass play. The first pass completion on the night for the Rockets, and it goes for 11 yards and a 1st down all the way to the Sage 29-yard line. Dater's in the shotgun with Grace in the backfield with him, and he's going to give it to Grace. He's at the 30. Powers forward to about the 27, but we got a flag in the area of what we normally see as holding, so we'll see what we got here. It is going to be a hold on the Rockets. So that's going to knock them back 10 yards here. Just as they had got inside the 30, they lose 10 yards here on a holding penalty. We'll see where the penalty occurred and if they mark him back at the 39 or if it happened a little bit before that. They're going to mark him right at the 40, so it looks like it happened about a yard deep in the backfield. So it's going to be 2nd down and 21 for the Rockets now. Or 1st down, I'm sorry. 1st down and 21 after the holding penalty. Dater's in the shotgun. Grace with them in the backfield again. He fakes to Grace. He's looking to throw. He throws it deep, looking for Kaiser, and it's incomplete. Jaden Kaiser there on the outside, just a little bit too high. Coverage for the Sages was Josh Burton. We've called his name quite a bit tonight. He's a receiver who's received a lot of passes early. He's a punt returner, and he's been on the defensive side of the ball as well for Monticello. So 2nd down and 21 now for the Rockets. 4:56 showing on our clock here. Left in the first half. Unity leads Monticello 7-0 in this Okaw Valley Black matchup. Dater's going to take this one himself, and he gets through to about the 37-yard line. So he picks up about 3. It's 19 yards on the ground tonight for Daters on 4 carries. It's going to be 3rd down and 18 for the Rockets. So a 3rd down and long here for Unity. We'll see what Coach Hamilton has up his sleeve here on a 3rd down and long. Clock ticking to 4:20 right now here. Looks like Hamilton's going to take a timeout here to talk about this 3rd down play here. He does take a timeout with 4:12 on the clock here at Hicks Field. The Unity Rockets lead the Monticello Sages 7-0. We'll be back in 30 seconds here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET. Welcome back to Hicks Field in Tolono. I am Chris Foster, joined by cameraman Rob Woods. We got 4:12 showing on the clock here. 4:12 to go in the first half. Unity leading Monticello 7-0. Third down and 18. Daters is in the shotgun, fakes it to Grace. He's looking to throw. He's getting pressured. He throws it as he's being brought down, and Tyler Lindsay just can't quite get over there. And he's brought pressured there on the outside by Matt Justice.
Burton on the coverage to Monticello.
Not a bad idea by Daters, even though he didn't quite get enough on it. There was really nobody over there. The only guy who could have got it was Tyler Lindsay, but he could not quite get over there in time, so it's an incomplete pass. So it's 4th and 18 for the Rockets with 4:05 showing on our first half clock. And the Rockets are going to punt it away here. Jordan Fisher in to punt again. And this is a low line driving kick, and it's go out of bounds right at the 18-yard line. Not a bad idea by Fisher. Maybe he would have hoped it would have gone a little further, but he knocks it out of bounds at the 18. He had a wonderful punt his last time that just trickled into the end zone right before the Unity special teams could get to it. So the Sages will start their next drive here of this first half at the 18-yard line. So first down and 10 for Monticello, trailing Unity 7-0. 4 minutes exactly on the clock here in our second quarter. Parrish is under center for this play. Nisley in the backfield. Now Parrish steps back into the shotgun. 3 receivers to the far side. He pitches it to Nisley. He's running to that side, and he's brought down by the Rockets.
Number 28, Dylan Nisley.
Great tackle there by the Rockets. That's 58. Tyler Krall got in there.
Tyler Krall makes the tackle. No gain, second down.
No gain on the play. Krall is a 5'8", 204-pound defensive lineman for the Rockets. He's a senior. So second down and 10 for Monticello as our clock is ticking down towards 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Parrish is going to start under center. Burton is in motion. Nisley in the backfield. They're going to give it to Nisley. He gets through the Unity defense this time, and he's going to be brought down about the 23 after a gain of about 5. We'll see where they mark it.
Tackle on the play by Colton Reed.
So it's going to be third down and 5 for the Sages, as they did give him 5 yards. 21 yards now for Nisley on the night. Big third down play here late in the first half for Monticello. Parrish is in the shotgun with Nisley. 2 receivers here to the near side. Parrish receives a snap. He's looking to throw. He's looking to the receiver here on the near side. He makes the catch. That's number 8, Carter Ness on the catch, but there is a flag on the field. We'll see what it is. It was a third down and 5 from the 24-yard line. Looks like the penalty is going to be on the Sages, as the referees are still trying to sort it out a little bit. Third down and 5 it was, and they completed the pass for the first down. But a personal foul on the Sages. We'll see if it was before or after the reception. If it's still a first down, nonetheless, they're going to be back 15 yards. They're going to mark it at the 35 and then mark back from there. So it's going to be all the way to the 20-yard line. We'll still see if it's a first down or a fourth down.
20-yard line, just inside the 21.
It is a first down, so it happened after the play. So first and 10 for the Sages, starting back at their 20-yard line now. After the personal foul. Under center is Parrish. He's going to give it to Nisley, and he's going to get through there for a yard or two.
Number 28, Nisley. Tackled on the play by Heath and Elijah Miller.
Second down and 8 for the Sages. 2 minutes to go here in the half as they're trying to put something together before we go to the locker rooms. Parrish in the shotgun, Burton in motion to the far side. Bad snap by the Sages. Parrish is able to pick it up, and then he's just going to throw it out of bounds, and that's intentional grounding. That is intentional grounding.
Putting pressure on the quarterback was number 9, Cameron.
Bad snap. Parrish was able to pick it up, but then he just decided to throw it out of bounds as he was being pressured on the outside there by the Rockets. I think that was Cameron Heath providing the pressure. He had a big sack earlier tonight. So a personal foul followed by a bad snap here for the Sages. And they're going the wrong direction here late in the first half, trailing 7-0 to the Rockets. Oh, actually, is it going to be? It is going to be intentional grounding and holding. I think there is a flag for each. So the Rockets can take their choice there. It's probably going to be ball on the 22, so we'll see will they mark it back here. Nonetheless, a minute 44 on the clock. The Rockets with an opportunity here to maybe take some timeouts and get the ball back before half and try to put some points of their own on the board before we go to the locker room. They mark it at the 8-yard line.
Correction, 3rd down and long.
Oh, sorry, it is 3rd down, correct. It's a loss of down on the intentional grounding. They need to make it all the way to the 32-yard line for a first down. It's marked at the 8. So that's the 24, 3rd down and 24 here for the Sages. Parrish is in the shotgun. He's going to look to throw. He's being pressured by the Rockets. He throws it again. Incomplete. There's got to be, they're going to say incomplete. I would think it was another intentional grounding, but they're going to say incomplete. I didn't see any receivers in the area. I thought it would have been intentional grounding once again, but they're going to say just an incomplete pass. Maybe there was a receiver in the area. So 4th down, and the Sages are going to be punting from their own end zone here. Burton back to punt. A flag here thrown by the, I think we might have some movement on the Sages as they continue to go in the wrong direction here late in the first half. Maybe too many men on the field. And that's just going to make things more difficult here for Josh Burton, the punter. As they mock him back 5 more yards, so the ball will be marked at the 3. And he's going to be right at the back of his own end zone here. The Rockets will see what they do if they put some pressure on. Here's the snap. He is able to get it up. A very high punt. It's going to be received by the Rockets. He drops it, though. Number 81's able to, did he fall on it? It's going to be very close. We'll see who got it.
Ball was fumbled by Gumble.
That was Darian Gumble.
Penalty marker down.
But I think he did come up with the recovery. We do have another flag down. This one's inside the 30, about the 29-yard line. So we'll see what this call is. A minute, another, a holding penalty against Unity. As we have 1:30 showing on our clock, the Rockets lead the Sages 7-0. A minute 30 to go here in the first half. We told you at the beginning of this broadcast, as this is a key Okaw Valley Black matchup, but we told you these are the top 2 defensive teams in the Okaw Valley Black, and it's showing here as we just have a 7-0 score. Unity gets a holding penalty, so they'll be pushed back now, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line, their own 44-yard line. We got a minute 30 on the clock. The Rockets have 2 timeouts. We'll see if Coach Hamilton decides to dial anything up here, if they're just happy to go to the locker room with the 7-point lead here in the first half. In Tolono here on HSSPORTSLIVE.NET, Chris Foster along with my cameraman Rob Woods. They're going to give it to Grace, and he's got room at midfield. He makes it all the way to the 45. 12 more yards added to Grace's yardage total for the night. And if he could have made one more move, he might have gone all the way. 77 yards now on the ground for Grace. Dater's in the shotgun, 120 showing on our clock. They're going to give it to Grace again, but the flag is thrown. He finds some room to squirt up the middle, but I think we might have some movement by the Rockets. Illegal procedure would be my guess. Illegal shift. So a minute 14 showing on our clock. And the Rockets are going to be pushed back 5 yards after picking up that first down. So that'll put them right at midfield with a minute 14 showing on the clock. Unity with 2 timeouts. It'll be first down and 15. Daters in the shotgun with Grace. 2 receivers to the far side. Daters keeps this to himself, and he's at the 45 and gets all the way to the 40 as he picks up 10 yards on that carry. And it looks like we have a timeout by the Rockets.
On the play by 33, Burton. Timeout, Unity.
Daters was tackled on that play by Jacob Burton. So the Unity Rockets have moved the ball to the Sage 40-yard line with a minute and 2 seconds left to go here in the first half. It's second down and 5 it will be for the Rockets. Daters just picked up 10 yards on that play. He's got 29 yards now on the ground. Connor Grace has 77 yards for the Rockets. On the defensive side of the ball, Taylor White has picked off 2 passes for the Rockets, so he's made some big plays on the defensive side of the ball. They lead 7-0. Connor Grace ran in an 11-yard touchdown in the first quarter. Monticello unable to get anything going on their offense. They do have Burton, who's got 20 yards receiving. Parrish has got 20 yards passing, obviously. Nisley has picked up 23 yards on the ground. Bailey, the fullback, has had 2 carries, but he's got -1 yard so far tonight. So here come the Rockets now, second down and 5. Dater's going to give it to Grace. He goes right up the middle. He's got room, and he makes it all the way to the 30. 10 more yards on the ground for the Rockets, and it's first and 10 from the 30. 57.8 seconds on the clock. Unity has 1 timeout left. Whistle blows. The clock starts moving here for the Rockets. Dater's in the shotgun. They give it to Grace again. He goes right up the gut again. And he's going to pick up 8 this time as they're just powering the football right through the middle of that Sage defense right now. Rockets in the hurry up here. 40 seconds on the clock. Daters in the shotgun. They're going to give it to Grace again, and Daters keeps it this time, and then he cuts it up himself. Squirts through to about the 20 or 19. I think he might have got the first down, which is a big play because it actually stops the clock for a second for the Rockets. Oh, it looks like we have a man down for the Sage. It looks like number 83, Burton, as well. Unity coach Scott Hamilton immediately out there to check on Burton. We talked about Burton earlier, a key player for the Sages as he's been all over the field tonight, a wide receiver, a punt returner, and he's a defensive back for the Sages.
The Monticello player down is 83.
Now we'll just try to see what's going on with Burton. Coach Hamilton talking to the referee, wondering if it was a first down or not. Looks like it might be, they've marked it just a few inches short. We got 30.3 seconds showing on our clock. The Rockets will have a third down in inches, it appears. It is 7-0 in favor of Tolono. But right now the concern is on the field for number 83 for the Monticello Sages, Josh Burton. He's a 6-foot, 160-pound senior. He's the flanker for the Sages. As I said, he's returned punts tonight. He's also a defensive back. He's sitting up right here, so that's always a good sign. The way he was down, it looked like something might have happened to a leg, but we can't really speculate, of course. We don't know what type of injury it could have been. But Burton is being helped off the field here as the Rocket offense comes up to the line of scrimmage because they're going to start this clock as soon as the whistle blows. It's going to be third down in inches. Burton still being helped off the field right now. It's going to be third down in inches. 30 seconds on the clock. Unity leading the Sages 7-0 right before halftime. Unity has 1 timeout remaining. It's going to be Daters in the shotgun with Grace and Reed both in the backfield with them. And Daters gives it to Grace. He goes right up the middle, and he gets all the way inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. 16 more yards for Connor Grace.
Minton and Burton.
111 yards now on the ground. Rockets right under center, 20 seconds on the clock. They give it to Grace. He tries to cut it up and into the end zone, but it's not quite through. Hamilton will call a timeout, Coach Scott Hamilton, as it was 1st and goal for the Rockets from the 4. Grace got half of what he needed, so he has 2 yards. So it's going to be 2nd and goal from the 2 with 14 seconds to go here, and an interesting predicament here for the Rockets, as obviously their bread and butter is Connor Grace and the run. But if they run a play here and he gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage, they may not have time to run another play. So Rockets may be forced to run a pass play right here. We'll see what Coach Scott Hamilton draws up. But a key series right here as Unity leads 7-0 with 14 seconds left to go here in the first half. And they're looking to put more points on the board and take that momentum with them to the locker room. Connor Grace with 113 yards rushing tonight. He had an 11-yard touchdown run for the Rockets in the first quarter. He took a hard hit in the second quarter and left the game for a series, but he came back, and he's been powering through the Sage defense here in this last part of the second quarter. So we'll see what the Rockets do. Daters in the shotgun, Reed and Grace with them in the backfield, and now we have a timeout by the Sages. So now Coach Colin Welter wants to talk to his defense and make sure they're ready to go here on this key play late in the first half. Again, the Rockets out of timeouts, 14 seconds on the clock. So if they do decide to put a run play on here, if they do get stopped short of the end zone, I don't know if they'll have time to get another play off or spike it to try to kick a late field goal. So really all kinds of scenarios yet to be played out here in the last 14 seconds of the first half. It's been a very exciting first half, low scoring. That doesn't mean it wasn't exciting. There's been some very good defense on both sides of the ball. The Monticello defense has done a good job. They've been on their heels a lot of the night, back in their own territory, but they've been able to hold the Rockets just to 7 points so far. We'll see what happens here in the last 14 seconds. The Unity defense has been able to pick off Monticello twice, so they've got 2 interceptions tonight. And the Rockets come to the line of scrimmage here. Justin Daters, Colton Reed, Connor Grace in the backfield. They're in the shotgun. The crowd is on their feet here at Hicksfield in Tolono. Tyler Lindsay is in motion. They lose the ball. Daters scoops it up and then tries to throw it. And they're saying he's down, and that's going to be the end of the first half, as a bad snap is going to be it for the Rockets. The clock is still ticking, but that's going to be it. And the half ends on that play as the Rockets looking to put more points on the board, but another bad snap comes back to haunt them. And that is the end of the half, and the Sages have to be happy to have dodged that. With Rob Woods, I am Chris Foster. We'll be back in 15 minutes.